coffee. I don't get to bring my coffee to work too often. So we're going to have a gentle Vinyasa Flow today, and I want you to just find yourself in a comfortable seat. I use a Mexican blanket. You could grab a pillow. If you sit comfortably on the floor, you can sit like that. We're also going to use some yoga blocks today. If you don't have any, don't worry about it. You can always find, anything around your house that kind of simulates this, being able to hold and push. The purpose of the yoga blocks is just to build the floor up. So we're just making things a little bit easier. So I want you to come into a comfortable seated pose and just take a moment and close your eyes. And kind of recognize how you feel. Maybe do a few nice deep breaths in through your nose, out through your nose. And just feeling how your body feels today. When you feel your breath go through your body, are there any areas that maybe feel a little tight, a little tense? And sometimes this is easier to do when your eyes are closed. I know I feel like when my eyes are open, I'm really distracted. And that is something that a lot of my students have been telling me, is that even though they're stuck at home, they're very distracted. It feels like they have all this time and yet they're not getting anything done because they're so distracted. And focusing our attention is practice. I mean, it actually takes a little bit of practice. We're really good at giving our attention sometimes to the wrong things. And it actually eats up all your time. And so you will have more time in your day. You'll actually have more time in your life when you stop letting your attention just flitter away and you really start focusing on your attention. And the easiest way to do that is to focus on your breath, because it's always with you. So when you're inhaling, inhale through your nose and just notice how that feels. Now, one of your nostrils is always more dominant than the other. But on a breath-by-breath basis, I'm sure you can't say, oh, my right nostril is pulling in a lot more air than my left. And so just feeling your breath. Now I notice today my left nostril is pulling in a lot more air. Now in your exhale, notice if the same nostril is dominant. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And just start to recognize and notice how the breath feels around your chest. Do you feel your ribs expand a little bit more? Do you feel tension in the back of your neck, which sometimes happens as well? And so I'm drawing my awareness to my breathing, kind of feeling what is going on. And then I want you to take your hands to your heart, thumbs pressed to your chest. And I want you to say minimum of 10 things that you're grateful for today. 10 things that you are great, not in a negative way. Like, oh, I'm grateful that I have food this week, but next week I'm out of commission. Be grateful, totally. Put all of your attention into that gratitude. So, I'm grateful that I can see and that what I see is clear. I'm grateful that I can hear and what I hear is clear. I'm grateful for my wonderful animals, my dogs. I'm grateful for my family, the people that I know in my life that are safe. Be grateful in a positive way, not in a negative way. And start to recognize, or even my gratitudes have this little air of negativity behind it, this little air of gloom and doom. We have an amazing opportunity. We're stuck. We're actually being told by our government to stay home. And so a lot of us aren't looking at the opportunity, even if we're in a really small confined area. What can I do with this time? So instead of focusing on all the things that I can't do, what can I do? I have time to reorganize my closet. I have time to reorganize my drawers. I have time to learn something online. You want to learn a foreign language? Now is the time. You want to go back to school? Now is the time. You want to be more connected with your family? Now is the time to call them. Listen to their voices. Have interactions. You want to do something special. Research and find out, how can I contribute to this life and this world? I want to get better at my yoga practice. Maybe YouTube tutorials on how to do my downward dog more effectively. We have this opportunity. And so today I want you to take the opportunity. What can I do with the time that I am being gifted? And I know sometimes it doesn't feel like a gift. But I want you to phrase it that way for yourself. What can I do with the time that I am being gifted? How can I make the most of this time? Because I can focus all of my attention on, I can't work, I'm losing all this money. And I'm going to perpetuate that. And I'm going to bring more of that lack into my life. We don't want to bring lack into our life in any capacity. We want to bring flow and knowledge and understanding and just spaciousness. So if I want that, I want abundance in my life, I have to think abundantly. I have to think, how can I create more space in my home, even if I'm in a really small area? What can I do? I have to be creative. How can I be more abundant when I don't have a lot of money or I don't have a lot of food? So I research and find ways to bring abundance into my life and focus on that. Focus on the things that you want in your life. Don't make them realistic. Don't make them where it's, I'm going to have to plan for this and I don't have enough of this. The more I think about any lack in my life, the more I perpetuate that. So I need to think abundantly. Whenever we perpetuate a thought, we create that form around our body and it actually hardens like a shell. And then I actually am that. I am this being of lack, this being of non-health, this being of non-flow. And I actually create more volume in my outer skin, my outer shell of this being of lack. So we want to be abundant and flow and be creative. So today's class is about flowing. And it doesn't have to look pretty. Nobody's looking at you. But let's flow. Let's have a little fun. And so I want you to go back, bring your hands to your heart, say your gratitudes again, and see if they've changed at all. Breathe in deeply in through your nose, out through your nose, and feel the abundance that is in your breath. And then I want you to set an intent for your day. Find a way today to have an abundance of flow. Create abundance in space. Spaciousness in your mind, your body, your house. Whatever you can do to change where you are right now, to change your circumstances, we're going to do that. And then I want you to just take your legs out a little bit. And you bring the legs out a little wider. Grab your hands around either your ankles or your shins. I want you to just start moving. And just circle your body. And keep your elbows somewhat to the inside. And you can round your back, bring your chest forward, round. Bring your chest forward. Try to push into your big toes. And then roll to your ankles. And just notice as your feet kind of move with this flow. So toes to pinkies. And then go the other direction. Same thing. Kind of opening up. And creating this spaciousness in your body. Rolling. This time it might be pinky to big toe. And then walk your hands forward and see if you can kind of walk your fingers forward like you're on a treadmill and point the crown of your head down. Now reach one arm across and just touch right arm towards left side, maybe dragging the fingers back, and left hand towards right side, same thing, drag them back, so like you're making this X. And then bring your palms down and try to pull your elbows down, and your palms are going to face up. And just bring it elbow to elbow. And don't worry, it might be up here, but you're still pulling the elbows down. You're still creating this spaciousness. And then when you're ready, roll yourself up, chin in towards your chest, move your head, and just take your hands around your knees. Rolling out the head. And going the other direction. Noticing the space I'm making in the neck, and it might crack and creak a little. When you're ready, chin in towards your chest, gaze up and down. And just doing this up and down. Let's do 5. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Bring yourself forward. Take your chin over towards the right side. And then reach your left arm across. Palm is facing up. Bring your right hand back behind you. And pull your shoulders down. Now, bob your head a little side to side. And then bring yourself back to the center. And then gaze over towards the left side. Slide your right arm across, and you're going to bring the palm facing up. And then take your left fingers back behind you. And then move your head a little side to side. Notice how this side feels. I have a lot of cracks, a little creaking. And then come back to the center. Walk your feet in a little bit. And then straighten out your left leg. Take your fingers, interlock your fingers around to the front of your shin. Lift your chest a little bit and pull your left heel forward. And then try to pull your forehead down. And as you do this, you're kind of rounding your back. Chin is really tucking in towards the chest. Elbows are going to squeeze in. On your inhale, lift your gaze. And then let's do the other side, same thing. So I'm going to slide the left leg in. Right leg is going to come down. And again, fingers grab the front of the shin. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you do that, pull that right heel forward. And then exhale, push down, and your spine goes back, and I'm squeezing my elbows in. Try to make the biggest double chin you possibly can. Pull your belly button towards your spine. Inhale, lengthen. So I'm going to bring my hands to the tops of my knees. This is one of my favorite stretches. I'm going to show you from the side. So when I do this, I'm going to grab onto both feet. So my hands come into the feet. And you're going to grab the front. Now the tricep is right on top of the knee. And this is going to really open these spaces along the back of the shoulder blade. So I'm going to take my fingers down around my foot. if you can, grab both feet. If you can't, let's just start with the left foot first. And you're going to push a little side to side. Now let your head pull down. And you're going to notice this kind of pushing, pulling action. And just push into both feet. Now I'm going to hold on to the left foot. So keep holding on to the left. And I want you to bring your right fingertips over the right and kind of gaze over your shoulder. And just keep pushing that left foot into your hand. When you're ready, you're going to come back to the center, and your right hand is going to grab onto your foot. And I want you to push your foot into your hand. Think about bringing the left fingertips over. And just keep a steady stream, maybe even kind of push that foot in a little bit, like little tiny pushes, push, 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 push. And then coming back to the center and just paddle it out. Inhale, lifting up, and again, roll out your head. Go the other direction. See if you've created a little more space. I'm going to move around a lot. You can stay in the same spot. So we're going to take the base of the feet together. This is where you can grab a block if you want to. I'm going to give myself some space. So I want my heels a little bit further away, and I'm going to round my back as I come forward. The elbows are going to start on the outsides. And again, if you're up here, that's okay, but keep the elbows fairly wide and push the shoulders back. So shoulders are back, crown of the head is coming down, and just allow yourself to fold into the pose. Now if you can, you're going to keep the heels together. And I want you to open the toes. And maybe the toes come down. And allow the feet to relax a little and move your ribs side to side. That's bowed. These are whippet. Round yourself up nice and slow. And roll your head out. Go the other direction. And then bring the toes back. This time, see, can you widen the space between? So this is kind of like a spacer for your legs. And then bring yourself forward. And the elbows are still out on this one. Maybe move a little side to side. You might find the elbows are reaching from side to side. And just see what space I can create. Push your shoulders back, draw your belly in. Crown of the head is reaching down, maybe towards the block, or it might even touch the block. And just allowing yourself to stay here for a few breaths. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. And notice the rib cage lifting up and down as you're doing this. So on your inhale, really slowly start to come up and roll the head out. And go the other direction. Now I'm going to take that block out. I'm going to bring the feet back, and this time I'm going to bring the heels in a little closer. Elbows are going to come to the inside of your ribs. Grab onto your feet and try to pull your forehead down towards your toes. Now I'm pushing my elbows actually into my belly, and I'm rounding the back a little bit more, and I'm going to keep pulling the head down. Chin is tucking in towards the chest, so as I'm coming down, I'm really creating a big rounding in the back. And I keep trying to recalibrate. Chin in, pull the head down. Chin in, pull the head down. And the elbows are kind of facilitating this action. Now on your inhale, lifting up, and maybe walk the hips in a little closer. See if you can get just a little closer as you do this. Elbows come towards the sides of the ribs, and this time pull your shoulder blades back, pull your chin forward. Try to keep the toes together on this first pass through. Inhale, lengthen, and then open the feet like a book, and then pull yourself forward. Again, my elbows are towards the ribs. And just see, what can I open? If you're able, can you flap your legs a little? And if you can't, don't worry about it. And maybe flapping the legs a little bit more. Getting some vigorous movement. Staying here for 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, coming up. Bring those knees together. Straighten out the legs and just shake them out. And so flexing the heels, and on this one, I'm going to bring my blanket away from me, let you see me from the side. All right, so flexing the heels. See if you can flex the heels so much that the heels lift. And if you're not able to straighten the legs up, or if you feel as though you're going back, you need to be up on a blanket and the heels might not come up. Lift the heels as much as you can. Flex the toes and kind of separate the toes. So the toes are sometimes really sticky at first when I wake up. You notice my toes just don't want to separate today. They're really not working. And relax the feet a little bit. I want you to overpoint the toes. Stretch the toes all the way forward. Notice if there's some toes that are kind of curling under. And you're going to feel this along the base of the arches. So we're going to flex, separate as much as you can, and then point, lifting up. Sit up as tall as you can. And if you need your blocks, you can use your blocks. Point, point, point. Let's flex. Lift the heels if you can. Separate the toes. There they go. And press forward, pointing the toes as much as you can. Sometimes my hands are trying to help my toes, so you'll see my fingers do this. Flex the heels, separate the toes as much as you can, and point the toes. One more. Separate, flex, and point. Hello. Hi, Falcon. Hi, dear. Yes, good boy. All right. Good. All right. So, you're going to get out. I know. All right. We're going to come up onto our hands and knees. We're going to bring our wrists, and I want you to work into the wrists as well. So your wrists are just like your toes. They sometimes need a little bit of help. So you're going to press into the wrist and just start moving yourself a little back and forth. Moving into the wrist. Try to keep your thumbs, so your index finger and your thumb look like a J. And then go the other direction. And I want you to move a little forward and back. This might be uncomfortable at first. I don't want you to shy away from it. So sometimes we feel the least bit of discomfort around our wrists and we stop. And we never give our wrists the opportunity to kind of uncreak, just like our neck. So that's what we're doing. And it's uncomfortable because we don't use our wrists enough. So this time I'm going to turn the fingers, I'm going to face them out. I want you to do the same thing. You're going to feel different things when you do this. But as you do it more, and as you're even here doing it, you'll notice that it takes a little bit of the pressure off. You want a little more pressure off, you're going to press up. So you press up a little bit, and it takes a lot more pressure off. When I hang the chest down, all my weight is going down. And so since I'm trying to stretch out my wrists a little bit more, I'm going to kind of hang my body down a little bit more. If you want less pressure, shoulders are going to be up. And then I want you to turn the fingers just as far around as you can and work a little forward and back. Now, if you can curl your toes, we're going to keep the fingers in this direction. If you're not able to take them around like this, don't worry about it. Just pull back as much as you can. They might be out towards the side. So keep your fingers down, and you're going to just really gradually start to lean back, and your wrists are going to start to lift up. And you can even bend into your elbows, come into that first set of knuckles. And then maybe coming into that second set of knuckles. When you're ready, pressing the wrist back down again. And then just taking the wrist up and down, moving back and forth. Nice. Coming up onto your hands and knees. Round your back a little bit. Let's inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, round. And then inhale. 2 more. Exhale, round. Inhale. 1 more. Exhale. So we're going to be on our hands and knees for a moment. So if you want to come back into a seated pose, shake your wrists out a little bit, roll your wrists out. We can do that. You can even take your hands and kind of roll them out. This always feels really good. So I'm going to have you come onto hands and knees. If you need something under your knees, use a towel, a washcloth, anything you need to. We're going to lift this right leg up. And when you're doing this, a lot of my students, I find they're doing this, and it puts a lot of pressure on the supporting leg. So try to square your hip down, and if you look back, your pinky toe is facing down towards the ground. Now I'm going to push a little more weight into my right hand, maybe tent the fingers on the left, and keep lifting the heart forward. See if you can start to reach the left arm forward and just finding balance here. If you're not able to, you can use a block and you can press that hand a little bit forward, but keep working on pressing this right hip and down. And see if you can stay there, lifting up, turn the eye of the elbow so it's facing over towards the left side. And that's going to stabilize the arm a little bit more. Staying here for 5, and 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Bring that hand down, bring the knee down. Sink down a little bit, walk the fingers forward. Tent the wrists. This gives the wrists and the fingers a little bit of stretching in between some of these things, and this feels really good. I'm going to walk the hands over towards the right side, and just allow your gaze to come over the right shoulder. And then when you're ready, coming back to the left side, walk your hands in that direction, pull your ribs to the right. Gaze over the left shoulder. Coming back to the center, you're going to bring both hands down, ripple up, round your spine a little bit, find a cat pose, and kind of push right through. We're going to separate the knees just a little bit. We're going to come into that other side in just a moment. Bring your forearms down, and I want you to push and pull. So you're kind of giving your scapulas this really nice stretch. Stretching through the backs of the rhomboids. And just opening the shoulders. It's kind of this push-pull action. Let the chest dip down, so kind of a cow back. And then round into a cat. And just doing this a few times. Kind of feeling what feels good here. Last 2. The last one. Nice, bring the hands down. Round the back a little bit. Bring the knees a little closer together. And this time that left leg is going to come up. Now, if you're starting to feel discomfort in the right hip, make sure the left hip is down, it's supportive. Eye of the left elbow is going to face to the right side, and I'm going to really support here, and if I need that block, I can use my hand on the block. Now, if you can, start to extend the right arm forward and lift the left leg as high as you can. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, and draw your right shoulder back. And just lift up as much as you can. Let's stay here for 5. Try to gaze forward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that hand down. Bring the knee down. This time take the knees out a little bit wider and curl your toes. Press yourself back. Press yourself down onto your forearms. And I'm going to lift up, and I want you to actually push back. And then kind of saw forward. And just doing this little sawing action in the back. Pulling forward and back. Forward and back. Last 2 like this. Last one. Nice. Take the toes down, find a wide child's pose, and think about pinballing your ribs a little side to side. Like you're trying to get your chest down a little bit more. If this hurts the shoulders, just grab the elbows. If not, get your chest as low as you can. And just sinking the chest down, allowing the shoulder blades to relax. Close your eyes for a moment. Check into your space. Check back into your breath. Notice your thoughts. And we're going to come up. Bring those hands so the wrists and shoulders align. Bring the knees a little closer together. So we're going to do that right leg again. Bring the right leg up. And see if you can start to lift the left fingers forward. Now as you're here, reach your right foot up and see, can I take my left hand and just touch the back of the toe? And then kick the leg back, reach the arm forward. And let's just see if we can find those. Maybe 4. Keep that pinky toe over the mat. And 3, gazing forward. And that eye of the elbow is facing over to the left side. Last 2. Exhale. Inhale, last 1. Nice, bring that hand down. Curl your toes. See if you take a moment, glide up into a downward facing dog. And just scissor your knees. Maybe rolling the hips a little back and forth. Stretching through the rib cage. And when you're ready, gliding forward, back, and let's bring the knees down. We'll find that tabletop. Gaze forward, and this time inhale the left leg. And as you inhale the left leg, see if you can bring that right arm forward. I'm going to point the left toes up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to see, can the right hand touch the left toes? There they are. Reaching forward, eye of the elbows facing to the right side. Reaching back and forward. Let's find 3 more. So exhale back, inhale forward. Try to keep the knee up high. Exhale back, inhale forward. One more time. Exhale back, inhale forward, hand down, knee down, lower down. This time take your forehead down to the mat and let your hands come back behind you. Let your shoulder blades relax and really let your shoulders slump down. Try to get your body in as tight as you can and keep seeing, can you kind of wiggle your head and your chin closer towards your knees. And just notice how the back kind of opens up here. The shoulders might relax. If you need anything under your legs, your bottom, use that. All right, so we have 1 more like that. We're going to bring the hands forward, tabletop the body. So you're getting good at this balance. We're going to play with this one a little bit. So I'm going to bring the right hand down. I'm going to reach the right leg up. Left arm is going to reach up. And this time, I want you to see, actually, let's bring the left hand down first. Right knee is going to come a little over towards the side. And then bring it back to the center. Exhale, squeeze it in a little bit. And bring it back. One more time, let's exhale. Squeeze it in. And bring it back. And we're going to bring that right knee down. Let's just do the left side. So same thing. I'm going to take the left leg and I'm going to bring that one forward. So it's going to come up over to the side. So see if you can do a little squeeze and then extend yourself back to the center. Exhale. Squeeze it in a little. Inhale, pressing back. One more. Exhale, squeeze it in. And inhale, pressing back. Take it down, curl your toes. See if you can come up into a seated pose. If you're not able to do this on the bottoms of the feet, that's okay. Move a little side to side. So we're going to try to play and grab our foot a little bit. And you might be successful, you might not, don't worry about it. So I'm going to take the hands down. I'm going to show you from this forward direction. So we're bringing that right leg over first. So that right leg is going to come up. Now try to tent the fingers on the left side. And see, can I bring the right knee over and maybe lift the left hand forward. So bring the knee over, hand forward. And then bring it back to the center. This time, see, can your left hand touch your knee? Bring it back to the center. Hand touches the knee. And bring it back to the center. One more time. Hand touches the knee. And back to the center. Take that hand down, take that knee down. And it's okay if you're falling, you're playing, you're moving. Remember, flow is about not always being successful. It's about kind of finding how to find it. It doesn't have to look pretty. Move the hands forward. Stretch your body back a little bit. Stay here a breath. I'm going to wriggle up. And then this time, I'm going to bring that left leg up. I might just let the right hand get really light, and then think about bringing that right arm forward. Think about the left knee coming over, stretching the arm forward, and then extending yourself back. And then maybe the right hand is going to touch the knee, finding that balance. And back, and touch the knee. And back, last one. Let's touch the knee. And back. And bring that hand down, bring the toes down, and walk yourself back into your toes. Reach and extend your arms up. Exhale, take your hands to your heart, and just move a little side to side. All right, place your hands down, curl your toes, glide back into your downward facing. Scissor your knees a little side to side. Notice if your hips feel any tighter, any looser, the same. Press into the arms as much as you can, kind of pushing your weight away. So especially if I struggle in my downward dog, it might be that I have too much weight forward. So make sure you're bending generously and push your weight back so you're straightening out your arms. Maybe the heels are able to touch down. They might not, it doesn't matter. Let's swivel the heels over towards the side, and then just lifting up and swiveling your heels to the other side. Lifting up, swiveling the heels. One more time, lifting up, swiveling the heels. And coming back into the center, and then just walking yourself forward. And walk your hands in towards your feet. Let's find forward fold. Let the head come down, shift the head back and forth. And just move your head like it's in a figure eight. Bend your knees and bring your ribs towards your thighs. And you can bend the backs of the hamstrings generously. Take the hands towards the elbows and see if you can kind of have this battle between the elbows. So one elbow comes down, other. And just keep working into the elbows. And when you're ready, hands towards shins, maybe straighten everything a little bit more, gaze forward. Exhale, bend. And inhale, straighten. And exhale. And on this one, I want you to take the hands towards the tops of the knees and just roll it up on your inhale. Super slow, coming all the way up, chin in towards the chest. Reach and extend the arms up. And then let's exhale, take the hands to the heart, thumbs pressed to the chest. Inhale. And then exhale, just dive forward. If you need to bend those knees again, allow for that bend. Maybe hands find the elbows. Find these forward folds that feel good in your body. It's not about doing anything. It's not like I'm rushing to come into a pose. I'm allowing for what is spaciously available today. And sometimes we're like, okay, I want to get to the point. The point is, I feel better. The pose is not necessarily important. It's what I do in between. How I'm loosening, how I'm opening. Take your hands towards your shins, gaze forward halfway left. Exhale, bend and bow. Inhale. Exhale. Take the hands towards the tops of the knees, roll yourself up, chin in towards your chest. Reach and extend your arms up. Let's do one more. So reach up, maybe offer a little bit of a back bend. And then as you exhale, hands to the heart, just dive into it. If you're able to keep the legs a little straighter, do that. If not, offer a bend. And listen to what the body says feels best. Again, the pose doesn't have to look a certain way. And that's something I try to encourage my students to understand. A pose is a car. You know, it gets you from point A to point B. It is helpful in a lot of ways. But not all poses look the same, just like not all cars look the same. Reach your hands forward, or reach your hands towards your shins, or forward. Lengthen the body, and then exhale, bend and bow. And then inhale, lengthen. I like the shins, because I can straighten out my back a little bit more. Exhale, lower. And then one more. lifting up. And on this time, I want you to just take the hands to the knees and roll it up. And try to feel each vertebra, articulating the spine, chin in towards the chest, reach the arms up towards the sky. Take the hands to the heart and just check in. What did you just create? Maybe a more spacious you. Maybe everything feels a little bit more open, a little bit more grounded. Pay attention to where your feet are and push into your big toes and see if you can separate all the toes. Now as you're here, keep your weight into your feet. Make sure you're about hip distance apart. Bring your arms down. Pull your shoulders back and walk your right fingers over to your right side. And just kind of lean your head in that direction. Let everything kind of drag down. And kind of pull the left arm down. So you can turn your left fingers so the fingers are facing out. And keep walking the fingers on the right side down. Now if you're here, you can start to bring that left arm gently over towards the right side. And just opening the shoulder, lifting the heart a little bit, stretching the fingers forward. Keep walking those fingers down, staying here for 3. And 2. And 1. Bring the left arm down first and really slowly come back up to the center. We're going to take it to the left. So just let the fingers reach down. The ear is coming over. So your left ear is going to reach over towards your left shoulder. Turn your right fingers so your thumb faces out. And just let the head really relax and keep walking the left fingers down as you kind of push the right hip out. Now if this is enough, just stay here. If you want a little more, you're going to take that right arm and start reaching it across over towards the left side. And just stretch the ribs, the hip, everything a little bit more. And then I'm going to slowly reach that arm down and pull everything up. And I want you to weigh your hands down. So chin is going to tuck in towards your chest. Let your arms walk down the fronts of your thighs. Round your back as much as you need to. And just keep walking down. And bend your knees a little so the ribs come back towards the thighs, and just start to notice what's going on. Has anything really changed here? Move the head a little side to side. Take hands towards shins, and then see if you can start to bring your tailbone back, gaze forward. Straighten out the legs a little bit more, maybe the head comes down. And it might be up here, it might look like this. And again, this is just what is comfortable. Just getting the knees moving, getting the legs active. If you're able to come down a little bit more, do that, but try not to be here. This is rounding into the back, and I'm not getting a lot of the benefit. So if you need to, bring elbows to knees, but push your bottom back and have a nice straight spine as you do this. Let's just find this last one. And then bowing into it, rippling yourself up super slow. Roll and re-walk yourself back up your legs. Chin in towards your chest. This time reach both arms up towards the sky. See if you can place the hands together. Draw the shoulder blades back and gaze up. Now reach your arms forward. Keep gazing up. Reach the arms forward. Keep gazing up. And then inhale, arms and eyes find each other. Exhale, take the hands to the heart. Chin in towards your chest. Roll your head out a little bit more. Go the other direction. Face your toes forward. Reach your arms forward and kind of shoot your fingers forward. You're going to cross your thumbs, right thumb over the left. And then turn and pull your hands over, but keep your hips forward. So I can go really far if I don't turn my hips, but it can only go about this far. Try to straighten the arms. Come back to the center. And then exhale over towards the left. Keep the hips forward. Back to the center. This time, do it bending the right elbow. And pull the right elbow back. Keep the hips forward. Keep squeezing the hips forward. Coming back to the center. Do the same other side. So exhale, and see if you can bring that elbow out. Inhale, center. Take the arms down, roll out the head. Both directions. And so reaching your arms up, we're going to use the right hand. I want you to grab onto the back of the forearm. And I want you to pull the arm over and just press that shoulder up and down. Try to keep the fingers open. Staying here for 5. And 4, 3, 2, 1. See if you can pat yourself on your back. Take your hand underneath your bicep and lift up a little bit. And lift up a little bit more, maybe touching more of your back behind you as you do this. And keep pulling the arm in. Push the shoulder down on the left. And when you're ready, relax the arm, letting it come all the way down. Hand comes down. We're going to reach the arms out. This time the left hand grabs onto the outside of the right forearm and just pull it over. And push the shoulder up and down. And let's find 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See if you can take that right hand around the shoulder. Take the left hand and just guide the arm up a little bit. Keep the hips forward. When you're ready, maybe the elbow starts to come down and roll out your shoulders. Other direction. So we're going to find our chair pose. With your chair, bend your knees, straighten your spine, and little tuck. So I'm kind of taking that little S curve slightly out. Now I'm going to sink down. Push your weight into your heels. See if you can lift your toes. Reach your arms up. Now pull your arms forward a little bit and pull your bottom back. Keep that little tuck of the tailbone and keep flittering the tailbone down as far as you can. Reaching the arms up. So I'm pulling equal weight forward as I'm pulling equal weight back. And as you do this, see how low you can get. And just find your distance. Now I've been practicing this so I can come down all the way, but I'm keeping some activation in the legs. On your inhale, slowly come up, take the hands to the heart. We're going to do that 2 more times. So I want you to find your chair pose, push your weight into your heels, separate your toes, bend your knees, little tuck. So it's almost like I'm dipping my bottom underneath my heels. Reach the arms up. Draw the shoulder blades back so the pinkies are in, thumbs out like I'm catching a ball. And then start to sink down a little bit. Now sink back, pull equal weight forward as I'm pulling equal weight back, and keep going down as low as you can. And when you know you're as low as you can go, I want you to hold there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, come up. Oh. Shake out the legs. I know, legs are alive, thighs are working. 1 more like that, same thing. So we're going to bend our knees. Inhale your arms. Little tuck. Bring the fingers so the pinkies are slightly in, thumbs out, shoulders roll back. Now pull back so your weight is in your heels, and I'm not forward like this. I'm pulling equal weight back. So I never feel as though I'm off balance, and my toes are really pretty light here because all my weight is in my heels. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, knees are forward, 2, and 1, hands to the heart, and just let your body fold forward. Bend your knees if you need to. Notice how your back feels, notice how your head feels, shake it out. And on this one, inhale and just slowly come up for 5, and 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Reach your arms up, hands find the heart. Nice. We're going to take it out into our wide angle. So I want you to find your legs are wide, a little wider than hip distance apart. We're going to find Trikonasana today. So with my Trikonasana, I'm going to turn my right toes out. Now, I want to try to keep my shoulders, so my shoulder and my hips, and Trikonasana is a really great pose to open your hips, So I'm going to turn my body so my torso is actually facing towards the long edge. I'm going to kind of push my hip out a little bit, and I want you to think about actually bringing this right shoulder so it's right over the shin. And notice if the hand is touching the hip, the elbow is going to point down. And I want you to stay here. Now the left shoulder, a lot of times it's here. I want you to pull it back. And so your rib cage is always facing over towards the left side. And you're really opening the ribs. Now think about bringing maybe the left arm up, and you might bring the right arm down. And it doesn't have to touch anything. I'm stacking the hips, I'm opening, pressing the arches up by kind of pressing into the pads of the feet, the balls of the feet and the heels, lifting up a little bit more. On your inhale, pulling back, turn the toes in, and then bring it over to the other side. So I'm going to take my hands to my hips, so my elbow can point down. Push your right hip over, and see if you can start to lean your ear over your shin. Turn your rib cage, so your rib cage now is working with this right hip and turning towards that right side. Now I'm going to extend and keep, you'll notice the left elbow is down and it's pointed down towards the shin. Now I'm going to try to extend and reach maybe the hand down, maybe this arm up, but keep the ribs so the ribs are facing away. They're open. They're towards the long edge of your mat, and you're going to maybe open the hand, maybe gaze up, and think about keep pulling that right shoulder and right hip back. Press into the ball of your foot, the heel. Lighten the toes. So the big toe is there. It's stable. The pinky toe is stable. But the other toes are almost not really doing anything. So I'm going to use this right hand on your inhale. Pull yourself back. Bring your toes back. Make sure your heels align, so if you have to walk anything back, walk it back. Take your hands to your hips. Fold forward. If you need to bend your knees, and let yourself move a little side to side. Straighten out your legs a little bit. Let's walk the hands over towards the right side. See if you can keep your left hand on your right ankle, calf, shin, anywhere you can. And then I want you to walk the right fingertips, and you can bring the body with it over towards the left side. You might be able to grab onto a foot, might just press to the mat, and then see if you can gaze underneath your right armpit. Stay here for a breath. Lift your arches. And then coming back to the center. Bend your knees, walk yourself forward, and round your back as much as you can. And this is where your blocks can be handy. You can grab onto your blocks. You can round and cow the body. And I just want you to find a few of these. If you don't have blocks handy, take your hands to your knees and just round up and down, pushing the bottom back and forth. And then straighten out the legs. On your inhale, come all the way back up. Reach the arms. Notice the hips are pretty open here. Take the hands to the heart. Let's just fold forward. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, dive. And just take the hands down. You need to bend the knees, but allow the lower back to soften here. I'm going to start to walk myself over to the left side. Right hand grabs onto the left foot. Ankle, calf, anywhere you can get. Now you're going to reach your body back over to the right side. So your left hand is going to walk and see what you can find. You might grab onto your foot, your ankle, wherever you are. Start to twist your body. So this time you're gazing underneath your left arm. And just kind of twist as much as you can. Gazing upward. Finding a few breaths here. And when you're ready, spring back to the center. So as I spring back to the center, this time, as I take the legs out, I'm going to do this little tick-tock.
And I want you to sway the hips side to side. And the arms come, this is like an old grandfather clock. And just start moving your body side to side, strengthening the hips. Now if you're able to come up a little bit more, you can come up and then draw the elbows down and coming up. Draw the elbows down, coming up. Draw them down, coming up. And you have a few more like this. Last two. Last one. And when you're ready, coming back to the center, hands to the shins, bend your knees. Roll it up a vertebra at a time. Chin in towards your chest. Reach and extend the arms up. Exhale, take your hands to your heart. Start to walk your feet in a little bit. So heel, toe, heel, toe. Shake your legs out. We're going to find a bit of balance. And so balance is, people, a lot of times everybody wants to put their hand on the wall. And they're like, I don't have good balance. I'm not good at balance. And we reiterate and we reinforce what we're not good at. It's okay. If you are looking for balance, it means you don't have balance all the time. We're on this movable planet. We're always refining balance. So not any of us are perfect at balance at any time, but it's really important when you're doing balance not to be up against the wall, because you won't find it up against the wall. You're just doing a pose. So I want you to shift your weight into the right foot and start with the left toe and just point the left toe. Now I'm going to touch the left toe forward and out, and I want you to find just 10, 9, little touch, 8, 7, reach the arms out, 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See if you can bring the knee forward and finding this movable balance for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Bring it down. All right, other side, same thing. So you're going to shift your weight to the left. Stand tall. Right toes touch. Arms are out. Pull your shoulders down and kind of reach your arms out and see if you can touch your right big toe and open and back. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And if you're not able to get that toe off the ground, it's okay. 3 and 2 and 1. And then move the knee. Maybe move the arms. Find 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Notice how the body helps. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. That's balance. Okay, balance is about finding it. It's not always about being still. When we fall, we have to find our balance. And so allowing your whole body to work for you when you're doing balance. So let's come through our yogi squat. Bring your elbows down. We're going to come back to the ground. So bring your elbows down. If you can find your full malasana, come down there. Bring the toes out a little bit. Bring the hands to the heart and lift your heart up a little bit. Kind of pull the knees out towards the side. Extend the heart up. Thumbs press into the chest. And just finding nice deep breaths here. When you're ready, start bringing your bottom down onto the ground. We're going to find a little bit of abdominal work, but we're going to come down onto the ground to do that. So I'm going to start to lower down. Bring your lower back to the ground. Grab onto your right knee. Extend your left leg a little longer. And then when you're ready, lift your head up. Lift your shoulders up. Lift your whole chest. Exhale, push into your lower back. So a lot of times we're trying to do this. We want to keep the head so the neck stays comfortable, but I want to work the lower abdomen, pushing the lower abdomen into the earth. Maybe take the leg up. If you can't take it all the way, that's okay. If you can, grab onto anything you can. Hold yourself up here for 5, Maybe release the hands for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give yourself a hug with that right leg. Take the right leg up towards the sky. So you can bring that right leg out over towards the right side. Exhale. Push the left hand into the left hip and just remind the left hip to stay down. Roll out the ankle on the right. Now see, can you roll out the ankle on the left? Can they roll together? When you're ready, inhale the right leg. And then this time, bring the right leg across your body and use your left hand to guide it. Now the right hip is going to come up a little bit, but don't let it come totally over. Just try to push a lot of the hip down. Maybe keep the right arm over. It doesn't matter how far. But you're going to get a better stretch around the back of your glute. When you're ready, bend your knee. Bring that into your chest and then just switch. Left knee comes in, right leg extends. Now as the right leg extends, I'm going to reach the left leg up. Might have hands come behind the back of the thigh. Inhale your shoulders and chest, and then exhale. Try to push into your lower back so your lower back is down, really hardening this. This also doesn't put a lot of strain on my neck. And keep reaching the leg a little closer, maybe reaching the arms out. And just staying here for 5. And 4. Gaze at a spot that's comfortable for your neck. 3 and 2 and 1. Release the head. And this time, exhale. Let's take that left leg over towards the left side. Push the right hip down. And so just kind of guide it, reminding it. Roll out the ankle a little bit on the left. Maybe roll out the ankle on the right. How does that feel for the hip when you do that? And then placing that ankle down, bring your left leg up and then cross it across your body. And so you're going to feel this on the glute because I'm trying to push more of the glute down. Extend the left arm out, maybe gaze towards the left side. When you're ready, bring that leg back up. And this time, grab onto your left knee and then slide your right leg, grab onto your right. And I want you to move a little side to side. Maybe grab onto the backs of the legs, roll a little back and forth on your spine. And then grabbing onto your knees, let's finish off with our happy baby. So we're going to take your feet, grab onto the sides of your feet, and just see, can you kind of roll a little side to side? Be creative with your happy baby. This is kind of where our foundation starts. So very rarely do we look at a baby and they're just perfectly formed and they're not doing anything. Babies move. Babies know what feels good. So close your eyes and as if, or hopefully nobody is like looking at you, be creative with your movement, finding a little bit of flow. If you have minimal mobility, just grab here, move side to side, and you can still move the feet. You know, just because my body isn't working in a flow state that I want it to, doesn't mean I can't have good flow. Doesn't mean that I don't start to find the areas that are available, that are a little bit more open. And when you're ready, I want you to bring those feet in a little bit more. Squeeze the knees in. Take the right leg over the left and just hug the knees in. Maybe the hands come down to the shins, but keep the knees working towards the chest, and then maybe moving the feet a little bit. And how does that feel? And then doing the same on the other side. Bring that left knee over, grabbing onto the shins, pulling the knees into your ribs, and then just fluttering a little. And then when you're ready, bring those knees in, letting the feet come down, lifting up into one bridge pose. So let's just push the spine slightly up. Bring the shoulder blades a little closer together, press into the feet, and just feel your body strong. Like if somebody was to sit on you right now, they couldn't move you. That you are strong, that you are basically a house holding up a full family, a structure. Feel your feet. Feel the energy lift from your legs. Feel it rise up through your shins. Feel your thighs press up a little bit more. The strength of your back. Squeeze your glutes a little bit. Lift up a little bit more. When you're ready, lowering down a vertebra at a time. Pressing into the lower back. Maybe walking the feet in. See if you can open the knees and open the arms. Now, this is a comfortable way for you to finish off into your Shavasana. I want you to stay here. If you want to take those legs out a little bit more, I want to make sure I didn't knock my coffee over. And just bring your arms out in that. Just allowing for your breath. And I really invite you to stay here for a little bit longer. You know, unlike a 1-hour yoga class that you take in a studio, you don't have to be anywhere. You don't have any external obligations right now. And a lot of the things that you have to do have been taken away from you. So what can you do with the time that you have? The only constant in this life is change. So how can I change today to find consistency in my life that gives me flow? How can I embrace the gift that I've been given today and not worry about what I'm going to do tomorrow, because tomorrow could be totally different. The resources that are available to me might be totally different. And so when I make plans for tomorrow, I'm basing it on what I know today. And so those plans a lot of times aren't feasible. They're not able to manifest, or they're not problems. And I spent a lot of my today worrying about problems of tomorrow that never came. Embrace your today. What can you do today with this gift? I will have a live meditation today at noon where we will release things that no longer serve us. This is one of my favorite meditations. I highly recommend joining me today at noon. Thank you so much for taking time with me today. Namaste.